This Is Not a Test is a 2025 Canadian horror film written and directed by Adam MacDonald and stars Olivia Holt, Courtney Moore, Froy Gutierrez, Carson McCormick, and Chloe Arakian. The plot follows a group of high school kids hiding out in their school during a zombie pandemic. Alright, another zombie movie, a Canadian one this time. I missed the Australian one a couple of weeks ago. I really wanted to see that, but I love my Canadian friends and was curious to see what we would get with this one. I liked the poster. I mean, the trailer was fine. I had nothing better to do on a Monday night. I had at least a little bit of experience with Adam MacDonald with his 2017 film Pyewacket. At least that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Which I bought a few years back. It's decent occult horror. It got a little bit of a buzz around the time it came out, and some people consider it kind of like a minor, I don't want to say cult classic, but a lot of people really love that movie to this day. I just thought it was okay. This Is Not a Test is actually based on the 2012 Courtney Summers book of the same name. And other than MacDonald, I wasn't familiar with anyone else here. I mean, nowadays when I go to a zombie movie, I'm always hopeful, but I fully expect to get something very generic. And we all know what a generic zombie movie is. I mean, there's like a literal template for it. If you've seen one, yeah, you've seen them all. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I'll take a generic zombie movie when it's done right. Fast-paced action, lots of gnarly practical gore. I'll take that on a rainy day. There's a lot you can do, within the narrow confines of the genre. I mean, Return of the Living Dead, is nothing like Night of the Living Dead. You can compare those two movies, and other than the zombie parts, they're completely different. A zombie movie has to have zombies, obviously, and that's all you really need. Zombies and a good story. My point being, the zombie formula is there for us all to use. All you have to do is put your own little spin on it, and, you can make it go pretty far. I mean, one of my favorites is Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake. I like it a lot, because it does tons of its own things instead of, being a carbon copy remake or just another zombie movie. Now, I haven't read the source material that today's movie is based on, but something tells me that it probably works better, as a book than a movie. Yeah, I knew going in that most of the characters are teens, so I know that there was at least a possibility that this might, this might be very much not geared for someone my age, and that's okay. I can still try to judge it accordingly as a film. It starts out pretty ballsy, to be honest, by introducing our main character Sloane, played by Olivia Holt, as a suicidal girl. It's a brief scene, but it's effective. A fairly heavy scene, of course. That subject matter always hits me hard, especially with the younger generation. Sloane had been living with her older sister and their abusive dad, but, when her sister was old enough to leave the house, she did, leaving Sloane there to fend for herself. Now, again, I haven't read the book, but I can't help but think that maybe, in that story, the whole zombie outbreak thing might come secondary, and maybe it takes the Walking Dead approach, where the primary story is the people and the lives that they left behind and the decisions that they have to continue to make to survive. And that approach is fine, but something like The Walking Dead, had great characters, which set up high stakes and a great story. Now, I've seen less interesting characters than the ones that we have here, sure, but there just isn't enough here, at least for me, to grab onto. A lot of zombie movies are pretty vague about how the outbreak actually happens, and I get that we don't need a concrete explanation, and it's probably easier not to give us one, but the way this movie handles it is maybe the worst I've seen yet. I mean, it literally happens off camera, and in like 10 seconds, I think. You just hear like a few screams outside, you hear a car crash, you hear an explosion, boom, zombies. I think I actually laughed out loud a little bit since I was the only person in the theater, so I guess that was okay. The pacing for me was not great, and the bulk of this is filmed inside of a high school, which does make sense in a zombie movie, but I hated this. The fact that they're here for like an hour or so, which is more than half the movie, and not enough happens in that time in the school, it just fucking killed me. The zombies themselves are traditional looking zombies, and they don't stand out at all, but they aren't really supposed to. The gore is actually solid, fairly brutal, practical, but it's spread kind of thin because this is not a movie that focuses on those things. So I'm giving This Is Not a Test at 1.5 out of 4 stars. It's competent enough, but barely, and one of the most boring zombie movies I think I've ever seen. If you want to do a zombie movie people will care about in 2025, you have to do things to stand out. and are memorable. And I do get what they were going for here, but for me, this one misses the mark. And I don't even know who I could recommend this to. I guess the young adult, audience is who it's probably made for. And I appreciate the script attempting to shed some light on human sadness, but there just wasn't enough here to grab onto for me. And sadly, the script just doesn't work for me. Not to shed any negative light on the source material or anything. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you at the multiplex.
Subscribe right now, please.